Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Mangesh Dashi. In this particular video, we will learn about introduction to the permeation and affinity chromatography. So in this video lecture, we will learn just an introduction to the gel permeation chromatography as well as affinity chromatography. This is a FYBSc level lecture. First we will see the gel permeation chromatography. Up to now we have seen so many types of chromatographies. So gel permeation chromatography is again one more type of chromatography. Gel permeation chromatography, that is GPS, is a type of size exclusion chromatography, that is SEC, that separates analytes on the basis of size. So up to now we have separated the organic compounds or inorganic compounds according to their physical properties or chemical properties. We use these chemical properties like ions, positively charged ions or negatively charged ions, in ion exclusion chromatography, and we use their physical properties like solubility, that we used in liquid type of chromatography or gas chromatography, or their adsorption disadsorption property in terms of column chromatography. But in this case, the separation of the analytes is done on the basis of their size. Gel permeation chromatography separates the analytes based on the size or hydrodynamic volumes, that is radius of gyration. This differs from the other separation techniques which depends upon the chemical or physical interactions to separate analytes. So up to now we have seen just ion exchange chromatography, partition chromatography, adsorption chromatography. In this case, the separation is done on the basis of size of the analytes to be separate. Separation occurs via the use of porous beds packed in a column. The smaller analytes can enter the pores of more easily and therefore spends more time in these pores, increasing the retention time. This smaller molecule spends more time in the column and therefore will elute last. So in this case, instead of solid stationary phase, we can use a gel, that is porous beds, which is packed into the column. So there are so many types of size of analytes are there. So whatever the smaller analytes can enter into the pores of this gel more easily and they spends more time in that pores. So whatever the solvent required for removing these small molecules, small analytes, more time requirement is also more, so they comes later from the column, while the analytes which have a bigger size, they can't enter into the pores of gel, so they comes directly with the eluent solvent. So they comes first in from the gel permeation chromatograph or column. Smaller molecule spends more time while bigger molecule spends less time, because bigger molecule can't enter into the pores of this porous base of these porous beds which is packed into the column. Conversely, a large analyte spends little time in the pores and are eluted quickly. All columns have a range of molecular weights that can be separated. So columns, according to the what molecular weight we require, according to that we can choose the column. So in this way, the gel permeation chromatography separates the analytes on the basis of their size, hydrodynamic volume, that is radius of gyration. This is the techniques here. Suppose this is the column which is packed by these porous beds, and this is the our mixture which contains small permeating molecules as well as large accelerated molecules. So what will happen if they enters into these pore beds? So whatever the pores of this small permeating molecules inserted into these pores of this gel. So for that washing of this small permeating molecules requires a more time. They spends more time into these pores, while these bigger molecules comes first from this column, while this required larger retention time. In this way, the analytes can be separated according to their size. Small sized analytes comes later and bigger size analytes comes fast or first. In this way, The gel permeation chromatography separates the analytes according to their size. This technique can be used for the separation of polymers mostly. Now we'll see the techniques, that is instrumentation. So gel permeation chromatography is conducted almost exclusively in a chromatographic columns. The experimental design is not too much different from other techniques of the liquid chromatography. So the instrumentation is not more different. Sample are dissolved into appropriate organic solvent, and after filtering the solution, it is injected into the column. Same like previous chromatographies we have seen, liquid chromatography or gas chromatography. We have to inject the solvent in the form of solution. The separation of multi-component mixture takes place in this column. So if you are doing giving the multi-components, that is more than two substrate also, more than two component also, this can easily separate according to their size. The constant supply of fresh eluent to the column is accomplished by the use of pump. So in every chromatographic techniques we have to supply constantly the fresh eluent, but in this case the gel retards the rate of separation, so we have to use a pump. So the fresh eluent goes into the column with some pressure. Since most analytes are not visible to the naked eyes, the detector is needed. As we know that in all the spectroscopic techniques we are using some types of detectors. So detector is needed for the analysis. Often multiple detectors are used to gain additional information about the polymer sample. The availability of the detectors makes fractionation convenient and accurate. So as we are knowing, as we know that we have to use a detector at the end of the column, so that detects what are the components are there and what is the concentration of that component. Often in most of the techniques we are using only one column, only one detector, but in gel permeation chromatography we can use a multiple detectors, so that gives additional information about that polymer sample. So if the availability of detectors is more, then the fractionation will be different. Whatever the separation will be convenient and accurate. The accuracy will be more, and that efficiency of the gel chromatography will be increased. This is the general diagram, block diagram for the instrumentation. This is the fresh solvent, that is acts as a mobile phase. This is the solvent delivery system. So here pumps are there that pumps the solvents into this sample injection port. So here we have to add a sample by using a micro syringe, and here is a column which contains a stationary phase, that is a gel which contains a small pores, and then whatever the separation done into this column, and then whatever the eluent is coming from this column which contains sample components, that goes to the detectors. So detectors monitors detects which are the components are there, and that we can see by using the data system. So in this way, this is the instrument. It's just like similar to the any general chromatographic technique, that is gas chromatography or liquid chromatography. Now we'll see what are the components are there in instruments. First one is gel. Gel is the important component which acts as a stationary phase in gel permeation chromatography. So for particular types of components we have to use a particular type of gel. So it has a particular type of pore size. So in this way we can control the separation. Other desirable properties of the gel forming agents are absence of ionizing groups in a given solvent, low affinity for the substances to be separated. So these are the two general properties. Just like it should not be react, their physical state should be same, it should not react with the solvent, our fresh eluent should not contain any ionizing group, or it should have low affinity to the substances or polymers to be separated. So in this way it should have this some properties. Commercially available gels like PL gel, Cefadex, biogels, agarose gels, styra gels are often used based on different separation requirements. So according to your requirements, which components to be separated, what is the molecular weight of the components to be separated, according to that we can use these gels like Cephadix, PL gel, Biogel, Agar gel or Styrogel. So choice of gels is depends upon the what are the components to be separated. Then column used in GPS is filled with microporous packing material. The column is filled with the gel. The column is same like gas chromatography or liquid chromatography. The length is around 2 to 4 meter and diameter is around 2 to 4 millimeter. According to that, you have to use the columns. Then eluent are the mobile phases. As we know that should be fresh. We have to make a constant supply of this eluent. That should be a good solvent for the polymer and should permits high detector response for the polymer and should wet the packing surface. So whatever the packing surface of the column, that should be a wet, that should be maintained, that should not get dry. So for that purpose we have to use this type of solvents. The most commonly used solvents are like THF, orthodichlorobenzene and trichlorobenzene at 130 to 150 degrees Celsius for crystalline polyalkynes, and metacresol and metachlorophenol at 90 degrees for the crystalline condensation of the polymers such as polyamides or polyesters. So in this way we have to use a fresh eluents, good solvent that should not contain any ionizing group, that should not contain any solute particles also. So for chromatography, whatever the eluents are there, that should be very pure and analytical grade. It should not contain any impurities. Whatever in gel chromatography, the packing material surface should be maintained wet. And pumps are required in this gel permeation chromatography. There are two types of pumps available for the uniform delivery of relatively small liquids volumes for GPS, that is piston or peristaltic pumps. So by using these pumps we can monitor the constant supply or uniform delivery of the fresh eluent into the column. So pumps are required in this case. Now we'll see the detectors, which types of detectors are there and how they work. So there are many types of detectors types available and they can be divided into two main categories. So detectors can be classified into two classes. The first is a concentration sensitive detectors. So that gives a information about the concentration of the components which are coming out from the column, which includes a UV absorption, differential refractometer, that is DRI, or refractive index, that is RI detectors, IR, that is infrared absorption or density detectors. So this type of detectors gives information about the concentration of the components which are present into the eluate. The second category is the molecular weight sensitive detectors. So for this polymers, this is another type of detectors which gives the idea of molecular weight of the components which are present into the eluate, which includes low angle light scattering detectors like LALs and multi-angle light scatterings, that is MALS detectors. So in this way there are so many types of detectors, but these are the main types, that is concentration sensitive detectors and molecular weight sensitive detectors. So in this case, gel permeation chromatography, we have to use more than one detector. Up to now we have seen one detector is sufficient for the information to get the chromatogram. But in this gel permeation chromatography, we have to use more than one detector so to gather the more data or more information from this gel permeation chromatography. The resulting chromatogram is therefore a weight distribution of the polymer as a function of retention volume, and most sensitive detector is the differential UV photometer, and most common detector is a differential refractometer, that is DRI. When characterizing the copolymer, it is necessary to have two detectors in series. So for better characterization of the components in eluate, it is necessary to use two detectors in this series. For the accurate determination of copolymer composition, at least two of these detectors should be concentration detectors. The determination of copolymer, most of the copolymer compositions is done by UV and RI detectors, that is refractive index detectors, although other combination can be used. So you have to use a series of detectors, more than two detectors or more than one detectors. Out of that, at least two detectors should be a concentrated detection, should be concentration detectors that detects the concentration of the particular components which are present into the eulate. For that purpose, we can use a UV RI detectors, or almost other combination also we can use. So whatever the available detectors are there, we have to use more than two detectors in this gel permeation chromatography. Now we'll see the applications of gel permeation chromatography. The technique is often used for the analysis of polymers. So for the polymers, this technique is more useful. When characterizing the polymers, it is important to consider the dispersity as well as the molecular weight. The polymers can be characterized by a variety of definitions for the molecular weight, including a number of average molecular weight, that is Mn, the weight average molecular weight, that is Mw, the size average molecular weight, that is Mz, or the viscosity molecular weight, that is Mu. So these are the various types of terms. So in these terms we can measure the molecular weight of the particular polymer. The Gs for the determination of dispersity as well as the viscosity molecular weight, that is MVA, and based on other data the Mn, Nw, Mz can be determined, that is number average molecular weight, the weight average molecular weight, the size average molecular weight can be determined by this gel permeation chromatography. So these are the applications of gel permeation chromatography. Now we will learn affinity chromatography. So first we will see the principle for this affinity chromatography. The affinity chromatography is the method of separating the biochemical mixture based on the highly specific interaction between antigen and antibody, enzyme and substrate, receptor and ligand, or protein and nucleic acid. So this is working on the base like enzyme substrate, like key lock system. So lock you can use as a stationary phase, and various types of keys you can use as a mobile phase. So particular type, whatever the matches with the lock, that requires a more time because that inserted into the lock system, right? While the another odd keys that comes faster with the eluent. So this is the principle of the separation. So in this case we have to use a highly specific interaction between stationary phase and the components, which has to be separated by this method. It is a type of chromatography laboratory technique used for the purifying biological molecules within the mixture by exploiting molecular properties. So molecular properties we should know. For example, protein could be eluted by the ligand solution. So in this way, the compounds to be separate, we should know their molecular properties. The biological macromolecules such as enzymes and other proteins interacts with the other molecules and high specificity through their several types of bonds and interactions. Such interactions includes hydrogen bonding, ionic interactions, disulfide bridges, hydrophobic interactions, and many more interactions. So either these chemical bondings, ionic interactions, hydrogen bonding, this type of interactions, then we can separate these macromolecules, biological macromolecules. Now this is the technique of affinity chromatography. The high selectivity of affinity chromatography is caused by allowing the desired molecule to interact with the stationary phase and bound within the column in order to separate from the undesired material which will not interact with the eulate first. So we have to use such a stationary phase according to a substrate which has to be separate out, so that stationary phase interacts with the our required specific components. So they interact with this stationary phase and they will come out from the column later. Whatever the undesirable material that won't react with the stationary phase, so that comes out from the column first. So in this way separations will occur. The molecules no longer needed are first washed away with the buffer, while the desired proteins are let go in presence of eluent solvent of higher salt concentration. The process creates a competitive interaction between desired proteins and the immobilized stationary molecules, which eventually lets now highly purified proteins be released. So there will be the interaction between stationary phase and the components to be separated. Undesired component will wash out first. They won't interact with the stationary phase. They washed out first with the eluent. Now see the principle how they will get separate. Suppose this is the stationary phase. So this stationary phase is like enzymes which are made up of for specific type of targets analytes. So these are various types of analytes. So this substrate is made up of hexagons, I think, suppose. So hexagons getting inserted into this one. So it requires some more time for the coming out. Whatever the unrequired, they won't interact with this stationary phase. So they comes fast with the eluent. Whatever the required one, they took more time because they interact with the stationary phase. So interactions, again that interaction breaking, so it required more time. So retention time will increase. So in this way the separation will occur. इथे बघा आपण सबस्ट्रेट हेक्सागॉन साठी वापरला, बरोबर. स्टेशनरी फेज कासाठी हेक्सागॉन साठी. इथे व्हेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ जॉमेट्री, समजा व्हेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ सबस्ट्रेट्स आर देयर, एनालाइट्स आर देयर, ते जर टाकले तर फक्त हेक्सागॉन त्याच्याबरोबर रिॲक्ट होतील, इंटरॅक्ट होतील, बरोबर. and this substrate, this stationary phase is only specifically for this hexagon. बाकीचे ट्रायंगल वगैरे ते काय होतील, ते पटकन फास्ट इल्युएंट होतील, राईट. ते पटकन इल्युएंट होतील म्हणजे सॉल्व्हेंट बरोबर ते आधी निघून येतील आणि त्याच्यानंतर सॉल्व्हेंट आपल्याला काय करेल, ह्या हेक्सागॉनला खाली घेऊन येईल. सो इन दिस वे वी कॅन सेपरेट आउट द पर्टिक्युलर टाइप ऑफ एनोलाइट by using their properties to interact with the stationary phase. Now what are the applications of affinity chromatography? The affinity chromatography can be used to purify and concentrate a substance from the mixture into buffering solution, reduce the amount of unwanted substances in the mixture, identify the biological compounds binding to particular substance, purify and concentrate the enzyme solution. So most of the cases the biological substances, biomolecules can be separated and purified by using this affinity chromatography technique. The affinity chromatography is used for the determination of inhibition constants of enzymes. So inhibition constant of enzymes can be determined by this affinity chromatography. Affinity chromatography is ideal for the study of interactions in a biological process. So this can be used for the interactions of the biological process. So we can pass various types of enzymes and particular types of substrate if you used. Then which type of enzyme reacts with of which type of substrate, that can be determined by this affinity chromatography. So this is the ideal method for the study of interactions of various biochemical processes. Thank you friends, thank you for the watching.